Well, good evening once again. Day 143 of the Biden administration, but it is the Trump administration and its attorneys general that are under scrutiny tonight, increasing scrutiny at that, 24 hours after that blockbuster New York Times report about the secret seizure of data from House Democrats in the hunt for sources of leaks in 2017 and 18. Justice Department's independent internal watchdog has now launched an investigation. Senate Majority Leader Schumer, Judiciary Chairman Durbin say the Democrats will open their own inquiry. They intend to subpoena those former Trump attorneys general, Sessions and Barr, to testify before lawmakers. As of tonight, current House Intel Chairman Adam Schiff and committee member Eric Swalwell, both Democrats from California, have both confirmed their records were seized.
I think we've shown through 2 impeachments a willingness to hold Donald Trump accountable. Donald Trump thinks he's going to be reinstated in August. He's running for re-election in 2024. You have a number of wannabe Donald Trumps who are just as corrupt and probably more competent. And so if we don't take steps to make sure this doesn't happen again, we could really see the erosion, the complete erosion of the rule of law in our country.
Swalwell says he and other House Intel staffers were notified by Apple last month about the Trump DOJ grand jury subpoenas in February 2018 that forced Apple to turn over the data. In a statement today, Apple revealed, quote, the subpoena sought customer or subscriber account information for 73 phone numbers, 36 email addresses, and that the NDO, or non-disclosure order, was extended 3 times. That's a gag order, each for a year. And that means the company was forbidden to disclose what the government took from them. Microsoft also said it received a subpoena related to a personal email account back in 2017. And as soon as the 2-year gag order against them expired, Microsoft says it notified the customer, who was indeed a congressional staffer. In an interview with Politico today, Attorney General Barr is quoted as saying he didn't recall getting briefed on the moves and was not aware of any congressman's records being sought in a leak case. He added Trump never suggested he target Democratic lawmakers, and a former senior Justice Department official tells NBC News that when Jeff Sessions was AG, he never approved subpoenas for members of the House Intel Committee in a leak investigation. Whether or not either or both of these former Trump AGs are telling the truth, that'll likely be borne out in public in the investigation. Counselor, it's because of your resume that we asked you to be on tonight, and I'd like to begin with you. So you are both a DOJ veteran and worked closely with Chairman Schiff. For all we know, your name is on one of these lists, and your data has been shared. What is your personal reaction to this story, and can you explain to our viewers why this is such a deadly serious matter?
Yeah, I'm horrified to see this, and it's not for a lot of the reasons others have said. I think the Department of Justice has every right broadly to investigate crimes, but knowing the people who received these subpoenas or whose records were sought through these subpoenas, I find it very hard to believe that there was any legitimate and real and credible evidence that would have led a objective prosecutor to issue these grand jury subpoenas. And that means that it was a purely political hatchet job, if that's accurate. Now, we haven't seen what the basis was for the investigation, for the subpoenas. Apparently, according to reports, Chairman Schiff's office has requested that information, and the Department of Justice has declined to give it to them thus far. But I am very suspicious as to what's behind there, and I'm somewhat suspicious of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle within the House Intelligence Committee and whether they were part and parcel of providing some of these telephone numbers, some of these email addresses to the Department of Justice, because they would have had access to more of that information than just about anyone as the majority staff for the House Intelligence Committee.
Wow, that last bit is certainly food for thought. Eugene, what is the White House view of this thus far?
Right now, I mean, this is a White House, and we've talked about this before because the Justice Department has been very busy and in the news over the last few weeks. They are kind of staying out of it, right? This is something that they have talked about, and the reason is exactly because of what we're seeing right now, right? They want to make sure that they are not seen as being as using the DOJ in any kind of political way, and that is what, when you talk to people behind the scenes, you talk to them on the record, you talk to them on background, off the record, they will tell you the exact same thing, which is that President Biden wants to stay out of the DOJ. He is telling his people to not try to put their thumb on the scale and to let them investigate this and whatever else pops up. You have this inspector general who's going to look into this and see what happened, who did what, and what was subpoenaed, who was seized. And they also know and are watching what's happening on Congress, right? They know that if you see Sessions or Barr or both possibly be subpoenaed and brought in in Congress, that's going to be kind of a blockbuster day or so of back and forth between Congress and those two gentlemen. And so that's something that they're watching as well, how this plays out, but definitely trying to stay, as far out of it as they possibly can, though they're very, very aware and paying a lot of attention.
Hey, Susan, exactly 24 hours ago, I tried to warn our audience that people were going to hear the word Nixonian tossed around a great deal. Indeed, over the past 24 hours, it has been. And John Dean heard enough of that. He, of course, knows from Nixonian. Here's what he said on CNN. We'll discuss on the other side.
A lot of people are comparing that with Nixon. Nixon didn't have that kind of Department of Justice. It is beyond Nixon, yes. It's Nixon on stilts and steroids.
So, Susan, as you well know, Nixon would have killed to have a DOJ that he could operate with a lever that would have performed on a whim for him. Are you as convinced as everybody else that it doesn't end here, that this may indeed be the tip of the iceberg?
Yes, I think that it's hard to argue that that this is clearly more serious than the abuses of the Watergate era. That President Nixon was trying to protect a particular incident and abusing his power to do so. This is a broader assault, I think, on our democracy. This is subpoenaing records, we think, without legitimate cause, of the representatives from a co-equal branch of government. And it is a kind of aggressive pursuit of reporters who the administration sees as their critics, that beyond, I mean, we've seen these disputes before in previous administrations and leaks investigations. This is just more serious, more of a weaponization of the powers of their legal authority than I think we have ever seen before in our history.